can hear
Oh,
you.
it's great
Very
to
loud.
connect with some Kiwis who are like-minded, because this is a pretty lonely road at times. So I just wanted to test my mic out, make sure you can hear me, and yeah, it's great to be here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, it's not going to be lonely anymore. We're going to
Cool.
make sure of it.
Do you guys meet up in Auckland at any stage? Does anyone live in Auckland here?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm in Auckland, and we will on the 22nd at Vondel in Devonport.
Okay. That's great.
I'm not from Auckland, but I'd love to come to Devonport.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the guy is going to sell it soon. So it'll be a bugger, but he's been in Bitcoin for a while.
Bugger.
Wow.
He would accept Bitcoin for the place.
Good for him. Has he got any bites, or is it just he's just floating the idea?
Yeah, just seen an Instagram post. He's
Right.
made the mental decision that he's going to move on and do something else. Yeah.
So what's everybody's thoughts on the little pump that we're having on at the moment? Can I ask?
I'm freaking out. Like, I don't want it. Like, seeing green, I'm like, oh man, no, I need more of it.
Exactly.
I need a dip for a day or two myself, because I just put in an invoice paid in Bitcoin.
I bought 69k, so it's still on discount for me, so I'm all good.
Yeah,
Be buying every day.
Yeah, look, a pump doesn't matter, man. It's low time preference over here, so it's just stacking sats.
Good stuff.
Hey, so look, we've got an agenda that you put together, James. Do you want to? Should we push through it, or do we want to have a more general chat, or what's our kind of thoughts?
Yeah, man, totally push through it if you may, please. That'd be great.
So you set some action points about talking to Food for the People. And is this or what you actually want to, or sorry, was your idea to talk about the group discussion 13th January, elevator pitches, Bitcoin Alive, Convoy?
Yeah,
Bitcoin
that's the
okay,
stuff
sorry.
that I'd written about.
Okay, cool, awesome. So elevator pitches, what were you thinking about talking about there, man?
Oh, there was somebody in the group that was just really wanting to make he was just talking about making elevator pitches for Bitcoin. Yeah, there's some people having a discussion about it. I think maybe it wasn't Ian with the tiger face.
I think it wasn't Ian, but yeah, there's so many names in that group.
Yeah, I came up with a couple at the time, just in the chat. I'll try and pull them up and read. Has anybody got some elevator pitches that they'd like to share? Oh, mine one. Yeah, I remember. There's like Bitcoin and everything else. Everything else will get cheaper forever.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess the thing I have a question about is what are our elevator pitches for? Who are they for? When are we talking about deploying these things? Are these things that we want to kind of arm our members with to have talking points while they're out in the world? And how do we best see? Like, this is my thinking about all of this stuff, right? We want to get into the meta of all of this stuff. I don't think in a meeting where everybody's got limited time, we want to talk about the specific pitches. I think we want to think about how do we create a directory or a Google Doc or something where all of these things are available for people to just kind of pick up and run with. And it's about assigning some responsibility for people to kind of pick it up and do it.
Yeah, that sounds very wise.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just very directive, but that's kind of my thing.
Are you asking Are you asking about how to orange pill people? Is that what you?
Yeah,
Pretty much, that's what I get.
I think Simon was wondering if we're here to discuss, just have a casual chat, or if we wanted to discuss the Bitcoin society / group / committee /
That's
Yeah.
exactly it, Dave. Like,
Definitely
yeah,
keen to
like
have a little run through it for sure.
what's our kind of aims for this evening?
Yeah, well, we've got that Google document, which BitB you'll find. Oh no, sorry, the murder the media dude. You'll find that in the group. Oh, I might be able to actually post it in the nest. And so I mean, yeah, we can write stuff in that Google Doc that we think, and it could possibly go on our website. Eventually, I would like to turn that into a Trello board.
Yeah, nice idea.
Yeah. I'll work on trying to post the document, the Google Doc in the nest now.
Awesome. Because, yeah, I mean, like, I could, like, I feel like I'm sure everybody here could just rattle off heaps of really good points about why Bitcoin and why Bitcoin only and everything. But at the end of the day, where's the, like collecting them is the important thing, right?
Oh no, his Twitter crashed. Classic.
Oh,
Oh no.
really? Bugger. Oh, I'm still
yeah.
here. I was just working on.
Yeah, I was doing some big talking and it just disappeared.
Bugger.
I was doing some sweet banter and then
I thought Simon was having some wines and just forgot about the chat.
Oh, wines are good.
oh, definitely having wines, but yeah.
Can
Man,
I
no,
ask?
I just think, yeah. Sorry, no,
Was
go.
there a purpose to this get together, or is this just a little chat, which is
Yeah,
fine
yeah.
either
Exactly.
way?
That's what we want. That's what we want to get to the bottom of.
Okay, let's
That
get to it.
yeah.
What are we trying to achieve here then? What's the purpose of the objective of the session?
Well, there's a few little things. Like the first one was elevator pitches for Bitcoin.
For who in particular?
Yeah, just to help new people, orange pill kind of people, I guess. Like a lot of people would, they don't necessarily know what to say about
Okay.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think that could
I
help.
think that was just like a fun sort of activity. Like if we had any,
just the
it
fun.
was just sort of like, we know that like there's how many 8-10 people here, and the rest of the world think we're crazy. So it was more like it's like,
Why don't we go around the table then and just take turns, and anyone who wants to talk about an idea for an elevator pitch, they can pipe up, and anyone who doesn't want to can just stay silent.
That's a good idea.
I'll start
Good
if you
idea.
like. I'll start.
Yep.
Shall I?
Please.
Do it.
Okay, I'll start. I've given up because I apparently, according to BitB, am the most worst orange pillar that I confuse people, and I'm just not very successful at orange pilling people. So I think I start from the wrong place is probably what I do. I'll hand it over to somebody else. How about the host?
Yeah, that was going to be my thing. I was somewhat going to say is it's more about like after I said my little elevator pitch, I was like, oh, what do you do and why? Because I think that's effectively the first start of the orange pill is just listening to them, finding out like why might want they to save that effort and value for future generations. Like why would they want to store it? I think you eventually lead into it. What's up, Dave?
did you want to have? Yeah, if did you Are you? Oh yeah. I think
He's passing the torch to you, bro.
it's pretty personal. Like I think we all come from different backgrounds, and the person that you're trying to orange pill obviously has not spent 30 seconds, has not spent 5 minutes on the topic, and we've probably spent 5+100 hours. So I think Tip said you've got to find out what the person is interested in and connect that to Bitcoin. So if they're a mother that is, struggling struggling to pay her bills, or struggling to, I don't know, with her finances, then how does Bitcoin help her financially? So it really just is going to be so personal at the time, that unless you know that person, it's like you could probably orange pill your friend, but I mean, even orange pilling you, I've had no success with my friends, a few people at work, a few family members. But yeah, I think you would think that having the trust of your friends and family would be the easiest, but it's I heard something that we are the counter, we are the risk. Like, it's pretty much they're trusting the banks versus us. So yeah, it's I've sort of given up with my friends and family because I don't want to ruin those special moments that I do have with them. So yeah, I'll dedicate it to you, to the people that want to learn.
So then, can I ask you a question? What was your path into Bitcoin? How did you get here? How did you arrive here?
Yeah, my parents were rubbish with money, so it wasn't until Sharesies and COVID crashed the stock market that I was like, oh shit, all my shares are worth nothing. And so I went from Air New Zealand stocks to GameStop, and then somebody, I think a friend said, oh, have you looked at cryptocurrency and Bitcoin? And I just chucked $50 into Bitcoin, and then yeah, started doing some research, and that was it. So I think
Yeah.
you've also got to be curious. And so I was sort of like, how do I get out of this? How do I get ahead and provide some sort of an alternative to KiwiSaver, or a supplementary access, that, because KiwiSaver is something that you can't get straight away, and so sort of like just a plan B to KiwiSaver, I guess. But I do sell it, or I do show Bitcoin as a like a KiwiSaver, something that you save for 4 to 5 years, and
And so did you go down the whole crypto path and get burnt in the altcoin sort of
no,
area? And now
I guess I stumbled across some Bitcoin only podcasts and YouTube clips. So yeah, I was lucky to find the right content, to find Bitcoin only content, and yeah, I never got burnt on crypto.
that's awesome. Does anyone else want to share how they sort of arrived here at a Bitcoin NZ Bitcoiners talk?
Well, yeah, totally. I think it's somewhat relevant to the elevator pitch for mothers or something too. And I just found out about it ages ago. Put a little bit of money in, forgot about it, kind of thing. So and so like it makes it so you can save for like a cycle or two, and you'll have like a life-changing amount of a life-changing amount of wealth for you to do something with, to change your life. It doesn't even have to be that long, like 8 years or something, and it can be like just be an insignificant amount of money, but if you hold on to it, it's a big amount of money. Like like a little. I wait a little bit. My mate calls me up and he's like, "Have you checked your Bitcoin account?" And I check it, and I was like, "Holy crap! It's more money than what's in my bank account," and that made me want to learn it. I was like, "What is this stuff?" And so I learned heaps more about it a couple of years ago,
And so you went down the rabbit hole.
so I started this group effectively and started, learned more. Yeah, then I started learning even more about it, and I was like, what is this crypto Ponzi scam crap? Because I didn't know, like, you know, a little while ago, I was like, oh, so is there like a new Bitcoin? And my mate was like, yeah, man, there's like version 2 now. There's a version 3. Like, check out this version 3 stuff. Lost heaps of money, like, in version 3. Still there, can't get it out. Like, such a joke.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster, right? Because I mean, that sounds a lot like my own experience, which was I bought Bitcoin maybe in 2013 and sat on it for quite a long time. Totally forgot about it, and then came back, and it was worth several $100, and it was mind blowing. And then, obviously, down the crypto rabbit hole, and I guess unlike a lot of people, I didn't actually get burnt by altcoins. I mined a lot of Ethereum, and did quite well. But I just came to the conclusion very quickly, especially with the move to most of these cryptocurrencies towards a proof of stake model, that they weren't offering what Bitcoin does to the world. And I think that's really, really important to recognize. The thing that keeps me in Bitcoin, not crypto, is its equity. And I think that that's key. You know, it's the,
You
it's
mean
the,
it's a commodity and not a security? So
no, I think what's really important, right, is that, uh, that banks discriminate, right? Banks discriminate against huge swathes of the population because they're not worth doing business with. But with Bitcoin, an African farmer can hold their wealth offline and only access it when they need to, and send it for a very little amount, with no monthly cost, no overhead to doing so, and that person would never have been eligible for a bank account. And we have this in New Zealand. We have huge amounts of migrant workers. We have huge amounts of people with bad credit who banks just won't do business with. And that is totally unfair because banks are part of the system, or the quasi-governmental system that creates money, right? Like every time you take out a mortgage, they create that money. That's not money that exists. So banks are both in charge of the money supply, but also in charge of discriminating against people who they don't feel are worth doing business with. And Bitcoin does away with all of that. It just brushes all of that aside, and it says, hey, if you've got 5 minutes to access the internet, you can store your wealth, and you can store that wealth for as long as you need to with no cost. And when you want to send it, it might cost you a few cents, and you can send it anywhere in the world to anyone with no restrictions. That's what keeps me in Bitcoin.
yeah, that's a really good point, and that's a good benefit. I'm pretty sure most of you people on this call probably follow Michael Saylor, and probably everyone knows who Robert Breedlove is. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Robert Breedlove, you know, when I first started listening to him, I thought, wow, this guy is way out there. I don't understand half of what he's talking about. Gets very philosophical about it, and he dives really deep into everything other than the financial benefit from Bitcoin, really. But I think he did start with a really good question for everybody to try an orange pill, and that was what is money, right? And that's what led me down the rabbit hole, because you can't understand Bitcoin unless you understand the current financial system and how it operates, right?
100%, and that's usually where it first starts when somebody is new, and some of them can get real offended if you don't say it the right way. It's like, well, you don't even know what money is, mate, and they're like, what, stuff you, don't tell me I don't know what money is, but it's like, no, seriously, it hasn't been backed against gold for like over 50 years.
And so, like I was saying, before, I've failed at almost every time I've tried to orange pill anyone. So I've really stopped trying to orange pill people, because I don't think that Bitcoin will become massively adopted until there's massive institutional adoption, and then all of a sudden that will orange pill large amounts of the population, in Western civilizations where there's not a massive need for adoption at the moment. It's those countries that you talked about before. Trying to read your name but can't read it properly. Like Venezuela, Africa, where they have a real need for it, where their currency is debased almost daily. And they need to convert what they get paid into Bitcoin really quickly.
Yeah.
Those are the countries that will adopt it fastest. Look at El Salvador. It's amazing that their name translates to the savior, isn't it? Don't you
I
think?
heard a statistic that 14% of American households have Bitcoin now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've read that as well. But I just wonder if
Have
they were.
or have had? That's the question.
And it's probably a sample survey, so like.
I wonder though with Americans if they were just speculating on something that they thought was the next best thing for an investment. Whether
And
they
you know
really
what? Like,
understand.
that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I think the important thing to recognize is that Bitcoin is
Yeah.
multifaceted. Michael Saylor treats it as an asset. Um, Jack Mallard treats it as a monetary network. Like, there are different interpretations and different approaches to what it offers, just like the internet. The internet is multifaceted. Bitcoin is multifaceted. It doesn't have to be one thing to one person, multiple things to multiple people. And this is, I think, key to orange pilling people, because it doesn't have to, you don't have to kind of jam one particular thing down in anyone's throat. You can see what this person is into, and you can help them understand how Bitcoin might improve or accentuate what they're already doing in finance, and that's how you get people.
Yeah. It is. I thought there was some good elevator pitch stuff there, Simon.
I'm always worried that I'm cutting out.
No.
Hey, your next point on the agenda is Bitcoin Alive.
Yep. I thought
What is that?
it was first table quality meetups. I think it's moved down the line a bit. But yeah, Bitcoin Alive, 14th of April in Sydney. That is a Bitcoin only event that's happening. I did sign up to be a speaker when they hadn't established a date yet. It would seem I'm actually not going to be in this area. Like, I'm going to be in the Philippines with my girlfriend Frances, which is a listener at the moment. Yeah, we're going to go to Bitcoin Island and stuff, but I
awesome.
really hope that someone else is going to be at Bitcoin Alive, and possibly even like wants to be a speaker on stage when they have something, so they can represent us.
So
Please.
I actually have a tentative invite to be a speaker.
Awesome.
Yeah, I am in touch with 21 million over the last week or so. Yeah, it's sort of in the Bitcoin and energy thread. I just have to have a chat with them about what they're looking for. But I think a guy called Dylan, who I've been in touch with, has sort of said, yeah, they're pretty keen. So I guess what I'm looking for is, especially from a Bitcoin society or committee, is some sponsorship to get there. Because Stacker is obviously a beneficiary of me being there and talking, but is careful in how it deploys its capital for the benefit of the company. And so I would put it to the group that it's probably worth having a speaker on behalf of Bitcoin NZ.
Yeah, man.
Certainly worth. Yeah. So look, I'm not going to beg, but I am going to suggest maybe there's a way we could facilitate a speaker there.
I've got a few ideas. I mean, the first one is with this. We might get some sats. I can set it up so whatever is comes from the talk goes to you, and
yeah, awesome.
As well, starting up some kind of like give a little page or something. I know you say like you don't want to beg or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I could.
Oh no, not.
I could set up a give a little page for you.
I'm not going to go on and on about how much I need money. We're not desperate, but I feel like, in all fairness, there should be a community effort. And I don't, if I'm the best person to represent the group, then awesome. But yeah, I've already got the lead in there, and it's looking good. So I'm happy to take NZ Bitcoiners with me.
I think that could be real cool, man. And I think it could actually happen too.
Awesome.
There's a few people that would just chuck in a few sats, and
totally.
And before you know it, you'd be on your way.
Yeah, and I can use Travala to book flights, which takes Bitcoin payment.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys ever used Travala. It's pretty cool.
No.
So it's a Bitcoin.
You've used it.
Well, so it's crypto, but it's it's they take Bitcoin payments and you get rewards, and they have a reward scheme which pays in their bullshit crypto Ponzi, which you can just cash out.
Yeah, because so I'm thinking I won't go to that. So it would make me feel a lot better if we did have a bit of a representation happening there.
Totally. Yeah.
And I'm gonna miss out on the Bitcoin Bush Bash as well, because that seems like it's got no resemblance to the name. It's in a community hall with a nice garden. Like I seriously thought we were going to go camping. Hence the name Bitcoin Bush Bash.
It doesn't sound like Bitcoin is to me.
But nah, totally. Some of the dudes that I met in Melbourne, they were. I mean, yeah, not all of them are going to go camping, but some of them were like legit dudes that would go camping, and they'd be into it for sure. And I thought like the dude hosting it, the Wizard of Oz, like I thought he'd be all about camping. Like my assumption was it was actually on some kind of farm, somebody's like Citadel, like soon to be Citadel kind of farm. That's where I thought it was kind of being hosted.
I agree. Just looking at it now, I feel like it might be slightly misrepresented. I think you're probably right, but they'll find out. They'll find out.
The third thing on our Google Doc list was first table, which is something Francis told me about. I think it's amazing. Like goes in line really well with like having quality meetups. Like you get 50% off your bill for the food for up to 4 people. But you can you could book multiple tables. I'm sure. I mean if there's more than 4 people. The place is like generally empty because I mean it's the first or the last table, so the owner is there, usually like talking to you, so and they're trying to be competitive, like they're offering 50% off their food. They're looking for like innovative ways to get people in the door. Like it's just prime for an orange pill, like especially if you've got 4 people there standing around the owner, and the owner can see you, like one person pays the bill and then everyone else settles their person with sats, and the owner's watching. They're like cogs are turning in the owner's head when you go visit and have a Bitcoin meetup there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, no, we should definitely. So, is the idea there that NZ Bitcoiners would structure its meetups around First Table and kind of, using the First Table scheduling, because I'm just looking at it now, the scheduling system kind of plan, so like Christchurch, Original Sin, 16th of Jan at 5:30, you could book a table.
Yeah.
And you're saying like that's how we should structure our meetups around the country?
Yeah, definitely try and promote that as like a little way. Like, you don't, if you want to just talk to a Bitcoiner, you don't have to travel to Wellington and wait a month or something like that. You don't have to wait a couple of months to meet someone. Just book a table and chuck it on the Telegram, and someone will probably join you.
That's a pretty good idea too.
Save some sats.
So maybe not necessarily all formal meetups are around Second Table. That might make Bitcoiners look quite cheap. But maybe if you want to have a casual meetup,
a good idea.
Through First, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
And when I tried it out, I met the Bitcoin Magazine dude and his wife, and then met another fellow Auckland Bitcoiner there, and it just went so well. We went to the Kingslander, a very prominent place here in Auckland, and
I know the place.
Did you talk to the owner?
Yeah, the owner was our waiter.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, right. I guess, man. Like, what's kind of a key thread from this whole conversation, right, is that with what we need, as much as anything, like I think the structure of the Bitcoin Telegram is the Bitcoin, the NZ Bitcoin Telegram is really good, and that it's got lots of different threads that you can join in on. Is that we might need a thread, like a resources thread with a pin thread that's got like links, like consistent links, like things like the orange pilling or elevator pitch doc, the First Table, website, all these kinds of things that we kind of are pushing people towards and want to drive people towards for using in kind of Bitcoin positive ways, right?
Yeah.
So we might just the question I'm sort of posing is like, how do we kind of collect all of the stuff so that it's user friendly for people who are already in the group and already on the, on the Bitcoin train, already orange pilled, already deep, and also for people who are coming in and need this kind of support and help to kind of find the resources and stuff. Like, it sounds to me like we're starting to really need some structure, even mentorship for new people. Like, how are we going to put that together is the question I'm posing.
Yeah, I just put down on the doc, the last thing on the doc, a First Table orange pill kit.
Oh, sweet.
Well, that's a good idea. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because it's hard to know where everyone's at, like in their Bitcoin journey, like whether they've just joined, like whether they've just stumbled across it last week or whether they've been here since 2013, or it's there's not a lot of unless you go to the meetups, there's no way of knowing where everyone's at.
Yeah, and the most prominent meetup is a crypto meetup, and when you turn up there, no one's even heard about Lightning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crypto's fun, man. The more I deal with crypto people, the more I realize it's just, it's a very frustrating space. It's a very crypto bro space, and it doesn't feel very serious at all.
Yeah, well, it's just sad for me, kind of like you want to help people have like security for their future, for their generations, generational wealth. And so that would be another kind of elevator pitch that I do to people is it will be here for your children and your children's children. It's like, that's the difference. compared to the other stuff.
True.
And I guess another one is people ask me, like, seriously, what's the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Like, is there a difference? And my main little elevator pitch for that is, it's not a company. It doesn't have, like, it's not selling tokens. You're actually better off like buying shares in a company instead of the tokens or like the McDonald's toys, and that's effectively what crypto is. It might not be around forever.
Yeah, like going back to BitBees, I think it's that what is money, and like tying that up with the value or the utility of Bitcoin. It's really hard to most people like I came for the gains. So most people come for the gains and number go up. So it really is hard to. There's not many that come in for the tech.
So if we were to think about what's next, right? Because what's time? We've been in spaces for an hour, and we've there's some really good discussion. I think the orange pill toolkit is a really, really good idea. So what is that like? How do we because I don't think we're going to solve it here, right?
No.
We're not going to solve it in the sort of slightly truncated and awkward conversational sort of style on spaces. But what does that toolkit look like, and how do we set up a workspace, whether it's Trello, whether it's a Google Doc, whether it's a thread in the Telegram, to kind of start pulling together what we think are the essential elements for that, and who's gonna kind of take the lead on it.
I think I always like when I'm going to places, I've got pamphlets, and now I've started with the Bitcoin white paper, and yeah, I think that the pamphlet's a great one, but yeah, we could make another pamphlet. I saw that one that Dave posted. Was it Anita?
Yeah.
That made.
Yeah.
So
I think Simon's get more like an online sort of like a Q&A type document, which would probably be, if we could get like maybe a Google Doc which has just common questions like, is it a scam? Like, why do I need Bitcoin? Or, how is it going to save me? And, what do I use it for? Like, how do I buy it? Like, that sort of most common questions that we get, like, so
yep.
that so maybe
there is a two topics. I mean, like the main topic that is used lots is like just links, videos, and stuff. But there's another one which isn't used at all much is how to buy Bitcoin. But yeah, we could start up another tab that is like first table orange pill kit.
Yep.
I'll do that now.
Awesome. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah. Sweet. Just choosing an icon.
Oh, you don't have to do it now. Like, we could
doing it literally right now.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, I've got the pill icon. Great.
Awesome. That's what we want. It's great.
Then other things on the list, what was it? The Convoy, Auckland's 22nd to Queenstown 28th. So yeah, I am going to have a lot of Bitcoin magazines on the 22nd at Vondel in Auckland, and the next day I will get in my motorbike, go to Tauranga, and I'll meet some people there, stay at my marae that night, and I'll make my way down the country.
That's awesome, man. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, legend.
Having meetups on the way and dropping off Bitcoin magazines, and yeah, I'll meet
Wicked.
you lads down in Christchurch. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, man, definitely. So just tentatively, when are you looking at being in Christchurch?
27th?
Yeah, the 27th, I think it is. Must be.
Awesome. Friday, 2 weeks away.
Yep.
I'll make sure Ben is locked in to drive, and I will.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Has been in the
Cool, man. That's cool. No, it's a great idea. I mean, it's a good way to kind of to drive the meetup kind of culture and structure, right? I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I guess the question is, man, how many times are you prepared to like circumnavigate New Zealand for Bitcoin?
yeah, I just need a more cheaper motorbike, and then I'd be keen to do it all the
Well,
time. I'll be at every meetup.
e-bike.
Again, man, like if we've got a society or a committee, and the committee has either donors or and I don't want to get ahead of myself on this, but like if the committee or society had donors or dues paying members, these are exactly the types of thing, like speaking at Bitcoin Alive or a Convoy of New Zealand, that should really be sponsored. You know, like if it's good for Bitcoin, and you can make a business case that it's good for Bitcoin, then it's exactly the kind of thing that I would hope that a committee could facilitate, either in part or fully subsidized. And that's exactly, I'm not, and again, I'd like to differentiate those kinds of outcomes from strictly being paid a wage. I don't think that's where we're at, but I think if you're going to do something that benefits the committee or the society or have whatever structure it's in, then it would be amazing to have a means of drawing on some donor capital to facilitate, and I think that's not unreasonable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm more think towards like speaking at a university or something like that.
Totally.
That
Why
would be
not every
amazing.
university?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I mean,
Christchurch University just gave us a glaring or a very strong tick in accepting Stacker into the incubator program. I know the manager. What do they call it? The director of the Atom, which is a similar incubator in Wellington. Like it shouldn't be hard to put together a bunch of academics who are at least Bitcoin curious. I feel my background is academic, so I kind of have a few hooks in there. But I feel like that's not an unreasonable thing to expect either. Is the opportunity to kind of pitch Bitcoin or do a guest lecture or even out of hours, outside normal uni hours lecture on Bitcoin to finance or economics, faculties. Would be totally reasonable.
there is an AUT lecturer that teaches that hands out white papers to his students. I can't remember his name. I think he's in that blockchain association in Auckland. Damn, what's it?
And what, he hands out a Bitcoin white paper?
I think I remember seeing him on something on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, I've printed out a bunch of copies," and he just had a stack of white papers that he's obviously going to just chuck at his lecture theatre, maybe. But yeah, I think he's a Bitcoiner / blockchain dude. But the fact that he's handing out white papers to his students is the right track.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that though. But because I mean, I know that one of them, Alex, the lady, like she's actually against Bitcoin, and she's like the head of the university.
I think she's at University of. I think she's at the University of
Well,
Auckland, and the other dude's at.
we might need to change your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to have big, hairy, audacious orange pill
Chch, yeah.
goals.
Cool.
Like, let's orange pill Peter Schiff, right? That would be the ultimate coup if New Zealand Bitcoiners could orange pill Peter Schiff. Like,
Yeah, I'd love it if we could try and get find a politician that would accept their pay in Bitcoin. I believe somebody came across some information the other day about the New Zealand Federal Reserve or something, saying that it's all good for people to accept their pay in Bitcoin as well.
oh yeah, look, IRD has guidance on how to pay your tax if you get paid in crypto.
Oh,
Cool.
So you know, that's acknowledgement at least that they are forms of currency that are taxable, because of course, you know, the IRD always gets its little taste. But it's sort of at least the first bit of kind of governmental acknowledgement that we're talking about something that is tangible and valuable, and is a true and fair exchange of your effort in terms of work for pay, and that creates a taxable event. So yeah, no, I think that's quite important to recognise, that the government treats these as something that they consider currency.
Yeah, something the people has said is a currency instead of them saying it's a currency, which is all that money, our current money. I mean, that's what fiat money is, right? It's just them saying, bringing it into existence, saying, oh, you have to use this token to pay your tax.
Exactly right. Yeah. And unfortunately, they don't accept Bitcoin in payment of tax, but that's surely not too far away. I mean, once the fiat Ponzi collapses, they'll have no option but to accept Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, and I used to freak out about that, thinking like, oh man, like one day, like when hyper Bitcoinization comes in, like the American dollar is going to crash and everything, all these currencies, like it's just going to be a massive disaster. But they have armies, and, there's heaps of people behind them. Like it's just the weaker currencies. The countries lose their rights to have a currency, and they become dollarized and stuff. So I mean, yes, it's just going to be a slow move kind of thing. And yeah, and then these countries like El Salvador that don't want to be dollarized, and see the damage that the World Bank does to them. Which brings me, I think, to the last point on the thing that we've got, or second to last point, is Nikki and James in El Salvador. I only just came across their YouTube channel, and it's pretty cool, really cool. I'm trying to get them to join the Telegram group. I've been, I'm in DMs with them. A couple that sold everything, a couple from New Zealand that sold everything
Oh,
and moved
right.
to El Salvador.
This is right. Awesome. Wow, that's a lot of commitment,
yeah.
man. Because I still feel like El Salvador is pretty rough. And while Max Kaiser has obviously made his home there, I'm not sure if everybody can afford the security and gated community lifestyle that they can. So how are they finding it?
I think the pricing is the housing is still quite expensive. I mean, like they probably thought it'd be cheaper than Auckland or Nelson, but I think they did struggle with the rent and the housing prices. But yeah, I mean they're documenting everything, so I haven't seen their channel. I've just seen one interview, but pretty much setting the the blueprint to move there or live
Yeah,
in a Bitcoin country. It's pretty wicked.
I've seen a few videos, and I mean I knew already quite a bit about El Salvador before I just came across them, as in like two things come up. Is that the first one is, during this COVID times, it's had astronomical growth. Like the amount of crime, like crime's dropped 95%. Tourism has increased like 50%. Like all these other countries, Western countries and stuff, like they haven't had so much growth compared to this country. And it's quite interesting as well, because the World Bank and stuff like that, they put out information about, oh, it's the most likely country to default and stuff. And then if you also read the statistics that the World Bank is putting out about the country, it's like, what, this doesn't, this information's like, there's obviously a agenda around this. Like, it's obviously false information. There's obviously agenda around the World Bank's information that they're putting out. They're obviously not going to default. They've been extremely prosperous. And then the last thing was, like, I saw videos about them. So like, was it 300,000 maybe, and you could effectively have your own citadel, like self-sustaining citadel, like town water and a water well, all the fruit trees and stuff. And yeah, sure, they've got like massive gates and walls around them, but it's effectively a gated farm with a massive wall around it, for like $300,000, which is more than I was kind of expecting. But then, like, I mean, it's a farm like a block from the beach, um, and like, sure, you can probably just find a patch of land out of town and build your own house for cheaper and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was interesting.
I think Murder Mork wanted to talk.
Hey, yo. Yeah, Murdoch. That couple you were talking about from New Zealand, I met them down there because I went to Adopting Bitcoin
Oh, wicked.
in El Salvador. Yeah, so like that was my first time back into actually media production, I guess. But I was working with the conference to do video stuff, and I met them, and they were talking about New Zealand. They were talking about, I think, your group and Bitkiwi, and they suggested I connect with one or both of you.
Sick.
So the word is spreading from New Zealand. And for those of you that, because I know this is the first time I'm talking since the start. So I'm Murphy. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, part of Bit Devs out here. So it's like just after midnight. But I'll be in New Zealand for a month soon. But I'm missing both of your meetups, I think, time-wise. But anyway, yeah, that's just wanted to pop in and say that.
Nice one. Which one are you? Sorry.
Oh, Murdoch Media, so the big M.
Oh, okay. I think I just followed you. Yeah, I'm following you now. Give me a DM.
Okay.
Maybe you can come and see us when you come over.
Yeah. Definitely hoping to hook up. Well, me and my wife are going to be there for about a month.
Great.
Doing the van thing.
Brilliant. We're in Auckland. I'm BitB's guy, and my partner BitB is on here as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to touch base with some of you through the island.
Sweet. So I think lastly, unless anybody else wants to have a bit of a word, is there we've got our next space, Bitcoin Builders, 7 p.m. It's on Zoom with Cody. Next Saturday.
Oh, damn. I'm going to be at a music festival.
Awesome. What one are you going to?
It's called Fab Fest. It's a friend of mine who has it every year. He has a big property up on the Whangapara Peninsula, and he has kind of a private music festival, if you like.
Oh, I don't have to be at that meeting, so I could join you.
I'll flick out an invite.
Sweet. Yeah, maybe until next time.
Thanks for hosting, guys.
Oh, but thanks
Yeah,
for joining us. It was
Great.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for
great
jumping
to
in.
put some voices to the names.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you.
Look forward to another one.
Catch you guys soon. Ciao.
Yes.
See you guys.